What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Fragger Builds. So last time we built that guy up over there on the river, and then we also built up these pathways going all the way around our medieval village. And I did do a little bit of work off camera and started breeding up some of these villagers a little bit, and so now we have 2 more of these guys, and that's a good thing because unfortunately I think we lost this Fletcher villager and also this Mason villager over here. So now I think we are back up to what we originally started with when we moved these villagers over here. So last time I let you guys vote on what I should do today, and at the time of recording this, according to the poll, you guys want me to build up the farm over here. And as you can see, I did do a little bit of off-camera work and cleared out all of the pathways that were left over from the village that was here previously. And so now we have a blank canvas to build our farm on. And I don't really have a plan yet on how I want to do this farm. Right now, I'm kind of thinking about using these hills here to my advantage. So we have a couple of them around here. We have this one obviously, and then that one there, and there's kind of one over there. But my plan right now is to have the house, the farmhouse, on this hill here, and then over on this guy I am going to have a little windmill. So that's kind of the plan that I have for that. As for where the actual farmland is going to go, I'm not entirely sure. I'll probably just fill in these areas here all around with farmland and just fill it in a little bit more with that. And then for the pathways, I'm not entirely sure yet. But I am going to get everything planned out a little bit more instead of just having a general idea of where I want to go with things. And then we can start building up this guy. So I've got this guy pretty much completely planned out now, and I think it is looking pretty good. So it looks a little bit chaotic, I know right now, but the general idea is that these cobblestone dots represent the pathways, and then these cobblestone circle things, they're not really circles, they're just random blobs. Those represent the fields that are going to be in here. And then on top of this hill here, I have the windmill kind of planned out. I may make it a little bit bigger, but I think I might keep it this size. I'm not sure yet. I'll figure that out later. And then on top of this hill here, I'm going to have the farmhouse. And I haven't planned that one out yet, but I will make sure to do that before I start building it, of course. So for these pathways, I have them connecting up to the center of this medieval village over here. It kind of goes through the dark oak forest, and I'll probably have to get rid of these guys. And I will also probably have to take out this tree here and also this oak tree, which is going to be a real pain because the leaves are kind of intertwined with these trees here, so I may have to take these ones down as well. And I also have this pathway coming around here and kind of winding through this area a little bit and connecting back up to the medieval village over here. Anyway, I need to get started on building this guy up, and I think I'm going to do it in a time-lapse format. And I think while that time-lapse is playing, I am going to tell you guys what my plans are for updating this series to 1.18, since 1.18 is, well, at the time you guys are watching this, less than a week away. So I do need to start figuring all of that out. But anyway, I'm going to get started on building this up, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So at the time this video releases, 1.18 is just a few days away, and my plans for updating this series to 1.18 involve just waiting a little bit longer. So unfortunately, next week will not be my first episode in 1.18, even though I could technically do it, but rather next week is going to be my last video in 1.17. So the week after that is when I'm going to make the update to 1.18. And I am super excited for this update, and of course, once I update to 1.18, I am going to drop everything with the medieval village, and I am actually going to completely clear my inventory and start from scratch and build up a brand new project. And right now, I'm not exactly sure what project that's going to be, so I'm going to let you guys vote on a few options for this next project. And this is going to be the poll for today's episode. So your first option for the next project is going to be a medieval city. And I'm a little bit hesitant to do this one since we just did a medieval village. And in fact, we're still working on the medieval village, but I figured I would throw that option in there for those of you who are interested in something a little more like a medieval city. The second option is going to be more of a steampunk city. And this is the one that I actually kind of want to do the most. I'm not super familiar with the steampunk build style, but I'm really excited to try and explore it a little bit more, and that's the option that I want to do the most. And I think the third and final option I'm going to have is to build up a desert city. And this one I have done in the past. I've done a fair few desert cities. Most of them have turned out okay, but it is a build style that I do want to get a little bit better at and work on a little bit in the future. So those are your three options on what I'm going to build up once 1.18 comes out. So as always, make sure to go to the community tab on this channel and cast your vote on what I should build up in 1.18. So that is it for this time lapse, and now it's time to go check out what I built up for the farm. Alright, so I've got this guy a little bit more built up than you saw it previously, and I'm pretty happy with how it looks so far. There are a few little details that I do need to add to it still. I want to add some bushes around the place and some more grass and foliage and everything, and maybe a couple of trees, but it is mostly done. I also need to finish these fields here because I ran out of seeds and carrots and potatoes, so they're not fully finished. And I'm also completely out of coarse dirt for those rows there, so I need to get more of that. But other than that, it's pretty much finished. So I am very happy with this. I really like the pathways going around the entire area. I did make them out of path blocks and coarse dirt and not stone, and I still need to finish this pathway. But as you can see, I have the house done, the windmill done, and the fields done. And I know the windmill doesn't make much sense because we already have that water wheel over there. So, and the windmill kind of accomplishes the same goal, I guess. But I think it looks good, and that was the main reason why I built it. But anyway, going over this farmhouse here, I made it out of blue terracotta and bricks, and I think it's alright. It didn't turn out as good as I was hoping it would, but it turned out better than it was looking when I first started it. When I first started it, I thought it was going to turn out horribly, but it did turn out okay, and I'm decently happy with it, and I'm probably not going to change it. But I didn't do the interior yet, and I'll probably get to that in a little bit. And it's kind of small in here, actually. It's not as big as I thought it would be, but it's fine. It works as a little farmhouse. I didn't really make a barn area, but I didn't really know where I would put one, where it would make sense. So yeah, there's really no barn, but I think it's fine because it's just more of wheat and then vegetables that this farm is growing, and not a whole lot of cattle, so I think it's fine without having a barn. But then anyway, this windmill up here on the hill, there's really nothing in here. It's pretty simple. It's just a box going all the way up, so Yeah, and I probably should fill in those windows with something. I'm not sure what yet. I might do iron bars again, like I did with the grain processing facility over there. Anyway, that's as far as I've gotten, so I think I'm going to do a little more work adding in a few extra details here and getting this place looking a little bit better. Probably do the interior of this guy as well, and then I'll catch back up with you guys. So I've got this guy pretty much finished up, and I've added a lot of the details that I want to add. So as you can see, I did put quite a few bushes around here, and I did have to grow a bunch more azalea trees in order to get those bushes. And I also added in these hidden lightings with the shroom lights and the moss carpets here, and I think that turned out really good. And I am planning on adding those all around this medieval village for hidden lighting. And I unfortunately ran out of these shroom lights here, so I will have to go and get some more of those later. But I also finished up all of these fields. And so we have potatoes here in this field, and I think they turned out really good with all of the rows. And then over in this field up here, we have carrots, as you can see right here. And I did do rows on this field as well, and I think that turned out really good. And then finally in this field down here, we have wheat. So all of these are completely filled now with their respective crops, and they're not fully grown yet, and they're gonna take a while to grow because there is no saturation in this farmland because there's no water. But I think it's gonna be fine, and it's still gonna look good anyway. I did add a few trees in around here, and I think they're fine. I probably could add a few more in here, but I'm not exactly sure where to put them. And there are some spots, like I do really want to put one somewhere around here, but I think it's too close to the house, and I don't think it would grow properly. And additionally, it seems like half the time that I grow an oak tree, it ends up being like the one tall oak tree that just doesn't really work at all and just gets in the way. So yeah, I do know the trick though for getting these really tall oak trees, but I tried it a couple of times on that one, and yeah, it didn't work very well. So I really don't know what to do for adding in some more trees here, but I could probably figure out something later off camera. And I did also finish up this pathway here and textured it, so I think that looks pretty good going into this medieval village. But unfortunately, I think that is all that I am going to do in this episode. I know this is probably a little bit shorter of an episode, but it is Thanksgiving week, so I don't really have as much time to record an episode this week as I normally do, so I did have to kind of rush this one a little bit. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it regardless. But anyway, if you did enjoy this episode, then make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below if you haven't already. And if you have any suggestions for this series or any other series on my channel, then make sure to go leave those down in the comment section. And of course, if you want to vote on what I should do in 1.18 once I update this world, then make sure to go to the community tab and vote in the poll. But anyway, that is all for this one, so as always, don't forget to keep building.